Let's go ahead with a bunch of crazy dogs.
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Woo! What's happening, people? It's another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk Giants football pretty much every single week of the year. Maybe there's a week or there, here or there, we take off. Plenty to talk about this week, right? We got Dexter Lawrence getting traded. We got the 10th pick in the draft. OBJ is in the house, working out or whatever he's calling that. We've got, all sorts of things happening. Like, did you know that the last 5 years, the Bills and the Ravens have led the NFL in rushing because they've got mobile quarterbacks, right? So we'll talk a little bit about Jackson Dart adding that element in because we know that Harbaugh wants to run the ball, so we're going to see a lot. Will we see a lot more rushing, out of Jackson Dart? And of course, we got Ryan Dunleavy that's going to be here in a couple of minutes. Don't ever forget the main point of this entire show.
It's good to be the king.
And I can't do it without these guys.
No Coach T-Ball, he is the man. Well, the Cavs can toughen up us over here and give themselves a beer bath.
Yo, Chris, what's up?
Hey, Craig, how you doing?
I don't know. Did you hear Dexter Lawrence got traded? I know I know you probably haven't heard that yet. I know it hasn't probably consumed you.
You got to be under a rock if you didn't hear that, right?
Yeah.
Got to be under a rock. But craziness, man. This is like nuts. A lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, nonstop. And like when we talk about nuts, you know who we're talking about.
You can call me.
Oh, there he is. I couldn't find you.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Dude, we are nuts right now.
No, let's do this.
Trading Dexter Lawrence. Like, there's goods, there's bads. We're going to talk about that in Love Hate. We're going to bring in Ryan Dunleavy here in a second. And guys, just be prepared because Mr. Dunleavy, he's got a stacked schedule in front of him. So let's make sure we hit him with some hard, heavy stuff right in the beginning. He likes to warm up a little bit. And
what's up?
He is. What's
Hey,
up,
Ryan.
Mr. Dunleavy?
The star,
What's up?
You got jam-packed schedule, man. You're on fire.
Mr. Popular.
Always catch Ryan at the
It's
perfect
been a
days.
day, boys. It's been a
The
day.
perfect days.
Well, then let's just crank it up.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, we know Dexter Lawrence. It's been the topic of conversation basically for the last 72 hours about him being traded to Cincinnati. Giants pick up the 10th pick in the draft. Is there anything that you love about this? And is there anything that you hate about this? Now, again, a little bit of gray area, but tell me what you think.
About Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah.
I love that the Giants were smart enough to see that this was not going to be solved with time or money. That they realized this was, well, maybe by reading my tweets, that this was personal for Dexter Lawrence, that this was not going to be like, I'll take the highest offer, or like Myles Garrett, I'm done with the Browns. Here's 160. I'm a Brown for life. Like, that's not how this was going to work. This was about feeling disrespected. This was about his friends telling him the grass is greener elsewhere. This was about a 2-year contract negotiation. This was about the Giants wondering if his best days are behind him. And this was not something that, like, okay, here it's August and he's going to just show up, or he's going to miss games or whatever. And then they realize then they have to trade him, and they don't get anything to help the 2026 roster. They knew it was time. They saw that the situation was past the point of no return, and they got a great return for him. So I love that.
Anything you hate about it?
Yeah, I hate that it got to that point. I hate that they didn't see it coming, that Dexter Lawrence wasn't going to be happy as the 11th highest paid defensive tackle, that they only gave him incentives last year when he asked for more money. And so it became like, well, he only got 1 out of 3 million. So of course he was going to ask for more. I hate that it got to the point where the Giants have to give up another homegrown player, and I have to keep chugging out the list of Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love. Like, literally, I hate that they can't figure out a way to keep their own talent, and they're always chasing everybody else's talent.
Yeah, I said I took some flack earlier in the week for saying it was a sad day. Not necessarily a sad day specifically because of Dexter Lawrence is no longer here. It's a sad day to continue to see the team lose homegrown talent. It is a theme that has been present over the last couple of years. Chris, don't you agree that, like, whether you love the player, hate the player, we do tend to lose a lot of homegrown talent?
Yeah, we do. We lose all the draft picks that hit. It seems like that second contract never seems to come around. So, I mean, if you're asking me what I love and hate, I hate the fact that he will not be a Giant for his career. And he probably, well, I don't know, maybe he won't be in the Ring of Honor, but I love the fact they got a 10th overall pick. I don't think anybody saw that coming. So that was a nice surprise.
Sean, how about you? What do you love about this? What do you hate about this? Because, again, outside of being overweight and hurt last year, we can also throw in the fact about, they're rotating him. He was hurt, maybe playing a little out of position. I remember when Ryan asked the line coach that, and he got all, the line coach got all grumpy because we've all been talking about him playing out of position. Like, so there's a yin and a yang to it, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I'm going to give a 2 for under love because I agree with Chris. I love that they got number 10 pick out of it. What I also love is they shipped out a player and got a great return for somebody who did not want to be here. I'm tired of guys that don't want to be here. I want guys that want to be a Giant. It's a privilege to play for the Giants. I don't care what anybody says. No matter how bad the record's been, I want guys that want to be a Giant. What I hate is the fact that Dexter said that he didn't want to be here. I hate the fact that he let whatever ill will he had towards Joe Shane to take away from the fact that he had an opportunity to play for John Harbaugh and turn this thing around and put in that there. So it may not be a popular opinion on this show tonight or among everybody on this panel, but I'm bothersome. And honestly, just like I did with our other player who had left, he's not a Giant anymore. So I don't care what he does. I really don't care. And him coming out and saying what he said, oh, I got a fire lit under me now. Well, where's that fire last year? Where's that fire? Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, you just come across like, I hate the fact that the victim card has been played. This is the second player in a row now. Oh, I feel appreciated. They showed me they wanted me. Dude, we paid you. The fans loved you. On this show 2 years ago, I called him the face of the franchise. So the fact that he feels he wasn't appreciated, I got a real issue with that. So I hate that fact of it because Dex should have been here. He should have been a Giant for life. He should have been a dominant nose tackle forever. And he should have been in the Ring of Honor, but he'd rather go play with his friends. So I hate that part.
Yeah. I will. Some Giants fans said, you mentioned the Ring of Honor. You both mentioned the Ring of Honor. Some Giants fan made a good point to me. He said, I wish I remembered who it was. Like, who from this era, like, they might go 10 years without a Ring of Honor ceremony. Like, they ain't putting Saquon in. They're not putting Dex in. Are they going to put Odell in? Like, I mean, they're going to have a hard time. They're not putting any coaches in. They're not putting GMs in. So who they putting in the Ring of Honor between, like, Justin Tuck and, like, Malik Neighbors? That's
what, Ryan?
It's a hell of a dry spell.
It's going to be this new era of hardball drafts. It's going to be this new era. It's going to be these players from moving forward. I mean, maybe an Abdul Carter at some point, but it's going to be these guys moving forward that will be in there. Hey, Ryan, let me ask you a quick.
Long time. I mean, you're talking about 10. If they're good, they're not retiring for 12 years.
Well, yeah, because guys don't make second contracts here. They're gone. Ryan, let me ask you this: if Joe Shane is fired in February, does Siegel, the agent, now work out something with Harbaugh? Because obviously the report was that he didn't even want to let Dex. Does something get worked out if Shane is fired in February?
That's hard to say. That's really hard to say, because I don't think it was just Joe Shane. I'm as critical of him as anybody. I don't think it was just Joe Shane. Like I said, I think it was hurt by the Carl Banks comments too. So, and wondering where those came from within the organization, if not just Carl on his own, if somebody had Carl's ear. I don't know. I can't really answer if he would be here if Joe Shane was not here. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's as simple as him or me.
Interesting. And I don't know if this is in line, Ryan, with what you just said about Ring of Honor. Someone tweeted at me yesterday that said, "Do you think anyone's going to retire a Giant in in the next decade or whatever period is?" And I said, it's a business more than ever, and there's no loyalty, and it's really hard to keep guys around. Like I said, Giants lose a lot of guys. I mean, you hope somebody like Dart, because he's the quarterback, right? But like, it's really hard to see guys. We know guys don't make second contracts, let alone third contracts.
Yeah, well, Andrew Thomas might be that guy if he can get if he stays healthy and gets another contract. Maybe Andrew Thomas is that guy.
They love him, so if he plays well, he'll get another contract. It could be him. His question is, will he stay healthy enough to play well enough to be in it?
Yeah, because it is a fact, right? We don't have any longevity at these players, so it is. When we talk about love, hate, I hate the fact that we keep losing homegrown guys. You know what I mean? Like, they just keep. Even if you don't love the fact that love all these players, like, they're not everyone's going to be an all-pro. But you lose Bellinger and you lose Belton and you lose, that basically that Wandell, you lose this draft class. It's not about the player. It's about losing homegrown talent. It's not about the individual. It's about you draft these guys, you invest in these guys. The fans loved Dexter Lawrence up until they didn't. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah. We were all. They
loved Saquon up until they didn't.
And OBJ, and pretty much OBJ for the most part.
Correct.
Maybe the last year, and this goes out to K-Mac in the comments, until Odell turned into a clown, because he said 5 minutes. The Odell was, for those first 4 or 6 years, they loved him, and they love Dexter Lawrence. Even after a bad year, they were like that. So I hate the fact that we're losing these homegrown talent. Like Belton went to the Jets. He might have been the third safety, you know what I mean, in that Harbaugh, Denard Wilson system. Who knows? But it really stinks to see homegrown talent go. Now, Ryan, the bigger question is, it's over. He's gone, right? So so there's two main questions that are on the table. Is what's the consensus at pick 10? Where do we think we're going? And two, how are you realistically going to replace a guy that was great for 4 or 6 years, or whatever you want to say, 5 or 6 years?
You're talking about Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start with the second one. They replace him with DJ Reader, who my colleague Paul Schwartz reported at the Post is got like kind of a handshake deal, so to speak, expected to sign after the draft ends, when the free agent comp pick formula is no more. So you replace him with him, probably another veteran, and whether that's Shelby Harris, Calais Campbell, whoever. And then I also think you replace him with a draft pick. So 37 is prime defensive tackle territory in this draft. You need a nose tackle, so not like a Caleb Banks from Florida. Lee McDonald from Ohio State would be ideal. I think he's gone by 37 unless the Giants try to trade up, but they don't have a third rounder. Christian Miller from Georgia is a possibility at 37. And then Lee Hunter from one of the Texas Tech, maybe.
Texas Tech, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice one.
He's 37 might be too early for him. He's a true nose, though. That's one of those, like, if the Giants trade down from 37 to 51 and 80, then, like, maybe he's 51. 37 might be too early, but those would be the three names on day 2. McDonald, Miller, and Hunter I would look for, plus probably 2 veterans. You got to replace 345 pounds generously of dominance with probably 3 300-pounders. That's how good Dexter Lawrence is. So
yeah, finding that athleticism is going to be the key.
Correct. Like you can find the run stuffer, but you can't find the pass rusher. You can find the pass rusher, but not the double team run stuffer. Like it's hard to find both. That's why he's a $23 million a year player. So
28 now.
Well, 23 average.
Average.
So,
okay.
And then you asked me about 10. You were just jumping over 5. We're just jumping.
Well, because 5 is the gimme. We've been talking. Okay, how about this?
I don't know if 5's a gimme. Tell me.
No, I meant like
I don't have it.
I meant like that's their slot. So, but if you think 5 is going to influence 10 or vice versa,
I don't know how it couldn't. Yeah.
Let's talk. Well, they might just have a guy locked in, right? They may have a guy like, hey, we're going BPA, and it's one of these 3 guys. 10 is a whole different ballpark. But all right, let's play 5 and 10. Where are we, Ryan, with 5 and 10?
I got to tell you, props to them, because I don't think I've ever heard as many names for the Giants as I'm hearing this time. Like that, if the goal is to not have people know what you're doing, like I feel like I don't know what they're doing. Like I woke up this morning thinking this: Styles and Downs, one of those 2 at 5. And then Jordan Tyson at 10 that's what I thought was their plan. Then Todd McShay and Rich Eisen had a show today where they said Sonny Styles is a smokescreen. The Giants do not want him, that he is off the board. He is like, out of consideration, not off the board. Wow. But he's out of consideration, Sonny Styles. So I saw that. So I sent a text to some people in other organizations who might know what the Giants are thinking. They said, yeah, that's the word around the league, is the Giants are not the Giants backed off Sonny Styles after Tremaine Edmonds. Okay. That's not what I thought when I woke up. So now I'm leaning towards that he's not there. If you had me on tomorrow morning, I might tell you something different. Like, if you're asking me now about 5, I think, well, let me start with this. As a package, I think the Giants' preferred package would be Caleb Downs and Jordan Tyson. And I think they have to figure out which one of those guys is most likely to be there at 10. And I think if you ask 10 different people in the NFL, they'll give you 10 different, 5 will say one, 5 will say the other. Like, I think half the league will tell you Downs is more likely to be there at 10. Half the league will tell you Tyson's more likely to be there at 10. Giants have to figure that out. I think that would be their preferred package. So I would say right now, Downs at 5, Tyson at 10, but there's heat that the Saints might like Tyson at 8. There's heat that the Saints might like Tate at 8. I think the Saints are going to go receiver. So you got to try to figure out who the Saints prefer. Yeah, I guess I would tell you right now that if you're asking me about 5, I would say the Giants board, depending on who's available, would look something like this. Preference number 1, trade down from 5 so you end up with 8 and 10 or 9 and 10. Trade down from 5 And that happens if David Bailey is still there at 5. If the Jets take Arvell Reese and David Bailey is there at 5, the Giants have a chance to trade down. Preference 1. Preference 2, I would say, is probably the Tyson Downs package. And preference 2B right there is Jeremiah Love. I just don't think Jeremiah Love will be there at 5. I think he will be gone at 3-4. So what player, if they don't trade down, I would say Love, Tyson, or Downs at 5.
And you're not hearing any corner at 10?
Okay, so we're done with 5. So 10, the other of Downs and Tyson, Vega, whatever his last name is, from Penn State, and the right guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I have not heard Mansour Delane's name anywhere. I think that's a logical pick.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard anybody tell me that that's the pick. So,
okay, Chris,
if they don't trade down from 5, 10 could be, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make 5 and 10. I wouldn't be surprised if they made 5 and 15 or 7 and 10 or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd probably put it over 50% that they don't make 5 and 10. They make some other combination of 2 picks.
So somebody must have bugged my phone because I was talking to Chris this afternoon, right, Chris? And I said, I don't know about Styles. He seems like the same player as Edmonds. They have the same style. They're good in space. They cover tight ends, but they're not thumpers. They're not downhill guys. Like, we literally had this conversation like 3 hours ago. And here Ryan is saying that, that Styles may just be off the board, which is crazy.
Not off the board, out of consideration.
Yeah, out of consideration. Excuse me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's on a board for somebody. So, Chris, the other topic we talked about was not having a corner. Like, at 10, would you not want them to go out and get a corner? Like, you now can basically fill with one of the best athletes on the board there.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Delane's blue chip, corner. He's a start and plug and play. And it is interesting that even through the Joe Shane era, things are tight-lipped with him. It's not like the previous regimes, like with Gettleman, where things get out. It would go along with the kind of pattern where you don't hear much, and then they would take a Delane. It is a little bit of a need, but also this is probably the number 1 corner in the draft. So it would be, a win-win, fitting a need and somebody that falls into that spot at 10, which is a spot where they probably deserve to be.
Yeah. No one around the NFL is talking about Delane to the Giants. Doesn't mean it's not happening.
Which is,
yeah, I'm saying,
makes you think it like it could happen.
Yeah, we've heard this. Yeah, it's one thing Joe Shane has done, right, Ryan? In the past, he's done a good job of keeping things quiet.
I have a phone full of what do you think the Giants will do, and no one says that. You guys say that. Let me argue that. That's a Giants fan thing, that like Joe Shane somehow is this master of secret keeping. I got Deonte Banks, and I think like half the beat got Deonte Banks when he was 24. Or 25.
It didn't really come out of the Giant building. We didn't really hear that.
But it doesn't matter. I mean,
well, yeah, because Gettleman, we kind of thought Gettleman was leaking stuff, and he would talk.
Really,
that was
if Shane tells me, or Shane tells his dentist, and his dentist tells me, what does it matter? Like it's still.
I just feel like Shane's a little more tight-lipped than Gettleman was.
I don't know if I agree with that. Everybody knew it was going to be Carter. Everybody knew they loved Dart. Everybody knew that it. I didn't. I knew they loved Neighbors, but I thought it was going to be McCarthy. I got tricked on McCarthy. But a lot of people knew it was going to be Neighbors. I don't know that he's this master of secret keeping that everybody thinks that he is. But Reese was the problem. Reese is the one who infamously had that famous Leonard Floyd, Jack Conklin.
2 years in a row too. They jumped him for somebody else too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Gettleman, with Barkley and Jones, it was pretty. He was salivating over both of those guys.
I'm the only one who I know who had Daniel Jones. I'm going to fight that back. I'm the only one. All these years later, I think I'm the only one who had Daniel Jones going 6th to the Giants.
Well, I think we were all concerned when he won the MVP at the Senior Bowl. Then that kind of Gettleman might take him.
Yes, everybody knew Saquon Barkley was going to be the.
I think Harbaugh's going to tighten up the ship.
Full on love.
Yeah, I think so.
Term? Full on love.
Full bloom love.
Full bloom love.
Hand touched by God. Yeah. Right.
Hey, listen, somebody brought up a good point. There's a couple things. By the way, if David Bailey's there at 5, I'm absolutely taking him. I know it's a trade opportunity, but I'm absolutely taking that dude because he can also play D end. Can also play D end.
They won't do it.
Whether they do it or I'm just saying, I would absolutely take him. That guy is a beast, a monster. He can play defensive end, which is one of the things we've been lacking. So imagine him, Carter, and Burns all on the field at the same time. Yeah, that'd be nice. I absolutely would take him.
And what do we do with Tibbs?
Well, I mean, there's rumors he might get traded. Who knows? He might not be here after next year. You got the comp formula, and you can never have too many pass rushers. Definitely cannot. And he's versatile. I would not be surprised. I wonder if the Giants will change up their front line scheme now that Dexter's gone. Maybe not look for a true nose. But I would also say this. It was on Twitter. Somebody put up Harbaugh's always had that linebacker and safety pair for the time he's been in Ravens. So to me, Styles and Downs makes a lot of sense. If you don't go Styles, I think there's a lot of smoke that's out there. I think this is all to get everybody off the scent of what they're going to do. But I still think Downs is the pick in there somewhere because the way he talked about Downs, he said basically he was a Hall of Famer, gold jacket type of guy. I can't see him not taking him somewhere. I think some of the things like now that, Shane was out there with Tyson and he went to dinner and he did all those things. Well, they did the same thing with Downs. So, but Harbaugh wasn't there to go out to that. He was at the pro day. So it makes me think that Downs and Styles could be the 2 picks that are there based on Harbaugh, the 2 pro days that he went to.
All right, well then let's talk about the other elephant in the room. The old man is back, ready to pee on some bushes and
whoa! He's not back. He's not back. He didn't sign.
No,
he's back in the building.
He's back in the building. Yeah,
taking a physical.
Yes. So Ryan, we got Odell Beckham Jr. in the building to take physical and to work out. Where are we with what he needs to do? Is this like this a 2-day workout? It's a day workout. Like what's that kind of look like on the schedule?
All right. So Odell Beckham was in the Giants facility today, had a workout and a physical. It is a 2-day visit to East Rutherford. He'll be back tomorrow to see how his body recovered from the workout, part of the physical. Heard he looked good. Heard he impressed the Giants in the workout. I would put it 50-50 is lame. I would put it at maybe 10% one way or the other. I haven't talked to Odell Beckham since he left here in 2018. So I don't know what he is thinking. So I'll say if he is convincing of the Giants that he's okay with a role as a number 4 receiver and going to be a good soldier and, the antics and the throw me the damn ball and all that. If he's going to fade into, if he's going to do, we'll never allow him to fade into the background, but if he's going to be okay with fading into the background, then I'll say 60-40 he stays. If the Giants get the feeling that this is going to be the Odell circus, then I'll say 60-40 he does not sign.
Tell me about the workout. Actually like what they do? They run
what it consisted of. I don't.
Okay, I was wondering, did they have him out there? I'm assuming they had him on the grass running routes.
They did. Yes, they did. But I couldn't tell you how many or what kind of routes or who threw to him. But yes, it was a route running workout. So
okay, checking on his knees and his repaired body. Sean.
Yeah.
So we talked about this numerous times about like you bring him in, you give him a tryout. As Ryan says, you can go either way, 40-60, 60-40, right? Question is can he play special teams? He used to be back in the day, used to be a decent returner. Is that something that you're going to let your number 4 receiver on traditionally any team in the NFL is playing special teams. If he's the New York Giants' fourth receiver, do we not expect him to play special teams in a return capacity?
I mean, yeah, in a return maybe, but I don't know that they will view him as a number 4 wide receiver. I really
What?
I don't know. When you look at his wide receiver room, and everybody here, I don't remember if Ryan thinks this or not, says we needed a wide receiver number 2. The wide receiver room is this, that, or the other thing. He arguably could be wide receiver 3 on this team behind Darnell Mooney. He for sure goes ahead of Darius Slayton. Like, he's a better route runner and better hands. I don't care when he's last played or anything else. He moves ahead of him. So I don't know that Harbaugh would see him as a wide receiver 4. He may see him as a wide receiver 3, depending on what they do in the draft, right? I think it's pretty serious if they're bringing him in this close to the draft and working him out. They had him in before. They had conversations with him. Again, am I certain on this? No, but this is my feeling. I think they're pretty serious about him, and I think they're going to view him as more than a wide receiver 4 or 5 on this team.
Ryan, you draft Tyson. Like, is there even any room? You draft Tyson.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he wants to come back here. He's not going to affect their draft play. Like, if they want Tyson, they're going to draft Tyson. They're not going to not draft him because of Odell Beckham. Like, he's not that guy anymore. So, like, you don't let him in. Oh, we got Odell. We don't need to draft a receiver. Like, no, that's no. If they draft Tyson, I don't know how does Odell feel like, oh, now I got no path to the field. I'm the 6th receiver or whatever. Like, but he might not have any other options. Like, teams aren't knocking down his door. So it might be the Giants or nobody. So he might not have a choice.
You mean that flag football catch didn't like just have people knocking on his door?
Yeah. I think the Giants, I know how you guys feel about Darius Slayton. I don't see any world where Odell Beckham's better than Darius Slayton at this point. So I would say he's wide receiver 4, maybe wide receiver 5. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, Ryan, that second line, you got
you
got Bo Collins and you got Isaiah Hodgins. So, I mean, I see that as a pretty good competition with Odell being with Isaiah Hodgins and Bo Collins. I mean, in that second line.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You guys agree? I mean, Bo Collins, Odell Beckham.
As what, number 4 or number 5?
As a 3, maybe at the 3.
Right. For me, right now, it's Neighbors, who I'm still not convinced will be on the field week 1. Okay.
Right.
Not convinced. 2,
Mooney.
2, Mooney. 3, Slayton.
Mm-hmm.
4.
And that's where it gets dicey.
4, I would say right now is Austin. 5, Hodgins. And then if you add Odell, he's ahead of Hodgins. He's probably ahead of Austin. And then if you add Tyson, then it's like, okay, well, now okay, now.
Let me ask you, Ryan, let me ask you, is there a chance that Odell battles it out with Gunner for the return spot? And that's one spot.
I don't know. He hasn't even signed yet. I don't even know if he's going to sign. Like, I'm not even sure he's going to sign. Like, it's a coin flip if he's going to sign.
But see, that's the thing with Odell. Like, you question because he doesn't play. Like, we all question because he doesn't play special teams. But that could be a spot that he could help get on the roster if he were to beat out Gunner at a punt return spot.
Look, he's a different cat. I don't know him. I would think that he seems like he's desperate for a uniform. And most guys who are desperate for a uniform will do anything you ask them to do to get a uniform. So if he's of that mindset, then yeah, he's going to be a returner. And yeah, he's going to, whatever, be on the hands team and whatever. Yeah, he's going to do all that to get a uniform. If he's of the mind that I'm Odell Beckham, I don't need to do that, then he's not going to get a uniform.
Yeah, my point was if you're the 4th or 5th receiver, it really helps to play some special teams because you're taking up that roster spot. So the fact if he's a 4 or a 5, he's got to contribute. Maybe that punt return job could be something to compete for.
It does, but
he can come in and just be that possession guy like we talked about before. Again, that's why I put him ahead of Darius Slayton because he's a better route runner still. Granted, he's got to be healthy. That is the caveat here. He has got to be healthy. If he is healthy, I don't need him to be Odell Beckham of 2018 or whatever it was. He runs great routes. He understands the route tree, and he's still got great hands. The facts are facts. Whether he's playing ever or not, his hands are still better than Darius Slayton's. That's my concern. So
I agree. I agree. His hands are better than Darius.
He doesn't need to be as fast as Slayton, but he needs to be reliable, and he's more reliable than Slayton, in my opinion.
He needs to create separation.
I think he can do that with his route running. It doesn't have to be speed to create separation.
It doesn't, but why did he have 9 catches with the Dolphins?
Well, he was injured didn't get injured like after 3 games. Did he play 9 games?
Yeah, I think he had 9 games and 9 catches. So like my guess is he wasn't open. That's my guess, but I don't know. I didn't watch Dolphins film. But
well, the good news is if he was not in some sort of shape today, somebody would be talking.
In shape. That's one thing you don't have to worry.
Yeah,
about.
people would be talking about it. There's no way he gets out of the building if he's not in shape. Everybody would be running with that one.
Yes, he's in shape. He was impressive in the work. I talked to somebody in the building. He was impressive.
Awesome. All right, shifting on to what you commented on about 2 hours ago, Ryan, is our friend Brian Burns gave his first interview post, Dexter being traded. And what, you learned a couple things, and then a lot of it was fluff. But we did hear that Burns had a bunch of his boys over the crib watching the Knicks play. He said there was about 15 of them in his house when they found out the news that Dex had been traded. And the interviewer, which will go nameless, asked a bunch of dopey questions. But your thoughts on these other guys, on what they think, because Burns was like, you can see he was disappointed, but he wasn't going to go, he wasn't going to go speaking out of turn. We lost.
Brian's like, I don't want to answer that question.
Yeah.
No, you reminded me that the Knicks are playing when you started talking about Burns. So,
Burns is watching the Knicks with a couple of, I think he said, if to quote him, 15 teammates.
Yeah, so I went to get my remote to turn on game 2. So look, I talked to Burns last week, and Burns gave me a great quote where he said, I don't want to play this season or any other season without Dexter Lawrence. Like that was a banger of a quote. And now he's going to have to play this season and probably the next 5 seasons without Dexter Lawrence. So he's obviously disappointed. What it's going to come to is, do they win? Like if in week 8, if the Giants are 6-2, nobody's going to remember Dexter Lawrence, and he's going to say, and he has his 8 sacks, and he's going to say, oh, okay, life is just as easy. Or he's going to have 1 sack in 8 games, and the Giants are going to be 2-6, and we're going to say, man, I bet you wish you still had Dexter Lawrence here. And so, I mean, that's really how it could be. Yeah, he's not happy about it, just like Dexter wasn't happy when BJ Hill got traded or when Leonard Williams got traded. That's part of the business. These guys know it. The quickest way to get over it. If Dexter Lawrence had been to the playoffs the last 3 years, do you think he'd be moping around about Julian Love not being here anymore? No, it's Julian Love. They're all going to get together at Darius Slayton's wedding or whatever, and Julian Love shows up with his Super Bowl ring and says to Dex, you bust his chops like we all bust our buddy chops. Hey, man, I was 3-14. Like, like that. Yeah, that. So, like, if Brian Burns is 3-14, he's going to miss Dex, and if he's not, he's going to say, oh, and if he's 14-3, he's going to say Dex who. So
wait, where's the Slayton wedding? When's this happen? I didn't get no invite.
It happened there was a Slayton. Yeah, I wonder why you guys didn't get invited to Darius Slayton's wedding.
Oh well, at least you found something he could catch.
Yeah. He didn't drop the ring, did he? He held on to it.
No, he didn't get married yet. I think he said the wedding.
Yeah, no, he got married.
He got married this weekend, Craig.
He got married over the weekend.
Yeah, he got married over the weekend.
See, I don't pay attention to anything at Darius Slayton.
I think a bunch of them were at. I want to say it was Saturday. My guess is a bunch of them were at Darius Slayton's wedding when the news dropped too. So
interesting stuff. All right, the other news that we want to talk about, because you already responded to this, but then Chris and I were talking about it. Telling you, Chris, somebody must have had our phone bugged because this has come up twice today. JVR, is it dead? You responded no, but then Chris and I were talking earlier, like, wouldn't it be more in play for Zeitler over JVR, or what does that look like to you?
Good question. GVR still wants to be here at the right price. So that's why I know it's not dead, because I've heard that GVR still wants to be here at the right price. So I don't know if Zeitler wants to be here. My text to Zeitler's camps have not been returned. So I don't know that he wants to be here. I would say I'd give the edge probably to Van Roten. I think Zeitler is probably a slightly better player. But there's something to me. I can't have spent the last 10 years ripping the Giants like I have for a revolving door of offensive linemen and writing about how 5 offensive lines are better as the sum of than they are individual parts. All the things I've written for 10 years, and then act like it's okay to swap in Daniel Falele or Kevin Zeitler or whoever for Van Roten, and they're not going to miss a beat. To me, like, the opportunity is here to keep the same 5 together and have them think as one and all those offensive line cliches. And like, to me, I would do that. Like, to me, that's what I would do. I would say, okay, we didn't, like, yeah, sure. If we could upgrade massively, like if all of a sudden the Giants landed Quentin Nelson, it's like, I'll see you later. But like, short of that, like, okay, let's just keep the same 5 together and see how that goes, rather than insert a younger, questionable player for Greg Van Roten just because Greg Van Roten is older and, maybe wants a little bit of a raise.
Well, what are we talking about here, Ryan? $1 million? $2 million? How much of a raise
What
did
did
this cat
he
off?
make? What did he make? What did he make? 3.25? Let's say. I don't know this. I'm just saying. Yeah,
I'll look it up.
I think he earned a raise, in my opinion. And
let's say he wants 1 year, $5 million. Let's say that.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We just got a lot of money freed up.
Yeah. But everything they've done would tell you they don't expect him back. Expect, whatever. Everything. Right. You don't sign. Maybe you sign Falele. Maybe you sign Lucas Patrick. Maybe you sign Evan Neal. You don't sign all 3 of them. And then if you believe Jordan Renan, who I think is excellent, he put out a tweet, right as we were coming on, saying offensive line's back in the mix at 10. I mentioned Vega from Penn State too. If you draft him, you could definitely forget about Greg.
Yeah, and Ryan, that could be a reson why Zeitler's camp doesn't respond, because they want to wait and see after the draft too. No sense of making a deal when they draft a top guard that's going to get plugged right in there.
Van Roten made $2.45 million. That's a combination of the base salary and the signing bonus. 2.45.
So let's call it. So let's say a decent raise is up to $4 million next year.
So 2.5 to 4.
Yeah, let's say that.
I mean, that's nothing.
What'd Zeitler make, Craig? Since you're on there,
8 maybe.
Hang on, let's see. Kevin Zeitler.
All I know is Thursday's going to be fun. So much fun because nobody knows. And I love the fact that nobody knows. And they're just throwing names out there and see what sticks.
Zeitler had was 8.74. That's the base salary and the signing bonus. So if you want to round it up, it's 8.8. So
I don't think we'll pay that for him.
That's double. That's double what you would pay Van Roten.
Yeah.
But I think it might be full. Like I tweeted this out when he signed. I think it's going to be. I shouldn't say that. Someone in another organization told me he thinks it'll just be Falele. Like,
could be.
Like when they signed him, somebody's like, he's probably going to be their starter. So, you asked me. What'd you ask me? 20 minutes ago? Was it you or it was somebody else? I did an interview right before this. Like, John Harbaugh likes familiarity. Like, is that enough to sign Odell Beckham? I don't know, but it was enough to sign Daniel Falele. So, yeah. So my guess is he's going to be the starting. If I had to put if you told me right now, who's the starting right guard for the Giants, I'd say Falele, or he's not on the team yet.
My headquarters is down there in Virginia, right outside of, right crossing over, from Maryland into Virginia. And they're like, good riddance. That guy's terrible. And Harbaugh loves him.
He's their Evan Neal.
Yeah.
Now we got 2 of them. Ryan, your chances of Evan Neal surprises with a new
Zero.
regime here at guard and actually could win a
Zero.
spot. No,
Zero chance. Zero.
Can't body.
No, I mean maybe he gets. I mean they keep 10, right? Maybe he's one of the 10, but wins the starting job. Zero. Could he be the second backup guard
called into duty.
Ninth,
yeah,
the ninth offensive lineman. Yeah, he could do that, I guess. So
We're really not good at first round draft picks, are we?
Neighbors is good.
Well, yeah. He's hurt.
by all accounts, yeah. Well, Neil,
Carter's good.
nobody saw this.
I'm going to bring up a wild thought here that I was saying to some of my buddies the other day. So two things. Number one, Evan Neal wants to be here and he works hard. He's constantly working hard. He's working with one of the top O-line coaches, personal line coaches in the country. That's
Shipley. Is that Shipley, Sean?
No, it's Bentley, Charles Bentley.
Oh, okay.
He's working with now.
The other one.
And here's the other thing. Evan Neal, yes, I understand it was college, but he did very, very well under Nick Saban. He got here and we had like a spa type of atmosphere. Harbaugh is very similar to Nick Saban. Maybe Neal takes that step because he's being pushed. He's being held more accountable. He's under that same thing there. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Yes, I know it's a wild thought. I'm prefacing by saying that, but maybe he responds to that type of coaching because he did do very well under Nick Saban. Maybe this is the change that Evan Neal needs. And don't rule out Azudu. Like I'll keep saying this. Azudu was splitting reps his rookie year and doing really, really well. They decided to move him to tackle. He's now going to go guard full time. Now, what they think and what I think, I'm sure are different. I don't necessarily trust that regime when it came to linemen and Bobby Johnson and all the moves that they did. But I think what I love is that there is a competition at that right guard spot. It may get handed to Falele, who knows? But I feel like there's a competition, and I think don't rule out that it could be a true competition and the best person can win. And I am higher on Azudu than most people because he was awful as a tackle. He should not have been a tackle. But in college, when he played guard, he was responsible for 2,000-yard rushers at North Carolina.
Actually, last year in preseason, he played well until he got hurt. He was actually playing pretty well.
Let me say this in response to what you said. They screwed up Josh Azudu. They are not to blame. Josh Azudu is not to blame for where Josh Azudu is. They screwed his path up.
And they kept going back to it. They didn't even just give up the first.
They were stubborn about it.
They
were stubborn about it. He lost all his confidence. They did that to him. Evan Neal, workout videos are nice. I have not heard any. I've heard quite the opposite of he's always working hard. Now, maybe that changes this offseason, but he is not where he is because he worked so hard and it didn't click. Like, I don't think Evan Neal's work ethic has impressed anybody in the Giants so far. And he was working with Willie Anderson, a borderline Hall of Famer, before he was working with Charles Bentley. So it's not like he was sitting on his couch. He always had a trainer. So
true, but he did look good at guard until he got injured. He was looking pretty good at guard last offseason until he got traded, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what that's the in-house opinion too. But like the in-house opinion is he was looking good until he got injured. But like, I don't know, that's part of it, right? He got injured. Like,
right.
And then why didn't he look good when he came back from being injured? I don't know. So
I think the issue with Neal is that he has, like, when it's bad, it's really, really bad. So everybody focuses
that's what they
say
plays about Falele too. Yes,
right.
That's what they say. Yeah. That's right. Falele's thing too. Is like he might be okay. He might be okay for 40 of 42 snaps, but the two other snaps he's on the ground while the other guy destroys the quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. So you're off to another interview. So I know you've got a pretty packed schedule. You giving us your last draft picks here? Like what are we leaning on? If I had to put your money on it, what are the Giants going with here on Thursday?
Tyson and Downs.
You mean Downs and Tyson?
Yeah, Tyson and Downs. What order? I guess I'll go Downs first, Tyson second, though I'm not so sure that Tyson will be there. Yeah, I guess that'll be my yeah. If you're asking me to leave you with, I'll go Downs 5, Tyson 10. But more likely a trade in one of those spots. So
Dang, you heard it here first.
So let's say Downs 5, Tyson 10 with a pivot to Bailey slips to 5. The Chiefs trade up to 5. The Giants are picking 9 and 10 and go Downs and Vega and don't pick, and Tyson's gone at 8 to the Saints. So that would be my pivot situation.
And are you hearing a lot of stuff around the league that people are looking to move?
I heard that Bailey the exact opposite. No one's looking to move up. Bailey getting to 5 would be the thing that could change that, I think.
Interesting. All right. Well, we are going to be live Thursday and Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the first round. And then Friday, we are live from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we'll hit you up. We'll send you a couple tweets and see if you're out there somewhere in Giants land. See what you're up to.
You won't hear back from me Thursday and Friday. Two busiest days of the year.
We'll follow.
Oh yeah, we're familiar. Doesn't mean we're not going to shout out at you, but we know you're busy. And then we'll hook up with you after the draft and everything settles.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
Ryan. We will talk to you later.
All right,
gentlemen. We have other business to take care of. What's happening on Thursday and Friday?
We do. But let's also put the reminder out. Get your questions in now for one last drive, one final drive. I always forget if it's one last or one final. Whatever it is, get your questions in now because we want a lot of questions. So put them in now. Get them ready. We'll answer them at the end.
Yeah. All right, Chris, tell them what's happening on Thursday.
That's your day. You want me to Thursday? Yeah,
All right,
Thursday.
Sean, tell them what we're doing on Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday. I mean, listen, it just got that much more exciting now with us having the number 5 and number 10 pick in round 1. So 6 to 10 live. We got our fan appreciation going on. So fans will be joining the show. They get their 15 minutes of fame to talk with us, do most of the talking because we need to shut up sometimes. So we'll be shutting up and letting them talk about whatever they want to talk about, Giants related, have some fun. We'll give away some prizes. We'll have some good questions going on. We'll think of some other fun thing that we can do. Craig and I will come up with. It's going to be fun. And then we turn it over to Chris on Friday. So Chris, talk about Friday, what you got going on.
Yeah, Friday, Giants have picked 37 right now as it stands. We'll see if that changes and maybe they pick up a third. But I'll be on with The Truth and Spartan and cast of thousands of our followers and people joining us. So it should be a lot of fun. And we're usually running on fumes by the time we get to 10 o'clock. But
and guys,
we'll see what happens.
I have open slots. If you want to be, everybody gets their 15 minutes to talk about you like to pick, you hate to pick, or we should have picked, or this is what I think they're going to do at 37. I think they're trading. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. I usually get anywhere from 3 to 4 of you on at the same time, right? We fill up all these little boxes that you're looking at us in right now. We let you guys run with it. We ask questions. We get some trivia going. We'll give some stuff away. I'm still, believe it or not, working on the schedule because I had a bunch of people one guy had a birthday. One guy got called out of town for work on a work shift and stuff. So I got some slots open for you guys. So if you would like to be involved or, friends that want to be involved, one guy said to me, man, I'd love to be involved, but I don't think I'll bring anything to the table. I don't know if I the other guy told me he was too nervous to get on. Right. So I'm like, look, if you know somebody that you want on here, even if you want to roast somebody, tell me, I'll send them an invite.
Yeah, and Craig and Sean, the great part about being on day 2 is we could do a nice recap of the 5 and 10 pick, unless that moves. But yeah, that's a nice recap on day 2 to go to get the thoughts and how everybody feels about day 1.
Absolutely.
And by the way, something in day 2 is going to happen that just gets crazy too, because again, I've said this for weeks now. 18 years Harbaugh was with the Ravens, in 17 of those 18 years. He made a a draft day trade. So I wouldn't put it past them to go 18 for 19. You know, so there's a lot of things that can happen, like Mark's talking about now, like Texans and the Steelers, Jacksonville, all good teams out there that are potentially, you know, that have needs. Like I said, Thibodeau could be the guy to move, right? So there's plenty of things to talk about that day.
And the thought is AJ Brown. That's going to be looking like it's going to happen going to the Patriots. So that there'd be some movement. A lot of players.
Yeah,
or
that one's just that whole thing with the whole Vrabel and the
good. Get him out of here. Get him out of there. Get him out of the Eagles. Move him.
Right.
Yeah, without a doubt. As long as I don't have to face that guy anymore. Sorry, Chris. I think I hit the button while you were about to say
I was just
something.
saying, get him out of here, especially right now, how it looks a little dicey at the other corner spot. So it's a good timing.
Man, I hope we get a corner. All right, so I'm about to see what kind of questions you guys have. Appreciate Mark and Kevin and Cole, of course, and Vin and Raymond, which we haven't seen in a while. Ray, glad you dropped in, and Sean, another Sean, G-Man R71, another Mark, another Sean. Maybe that was the same Sean. So appreciate you guys hanging out. Oh, Daniel's here. What's up, Daniel? Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I know we're a little bit light because you guys are going to be giants, giant to the max, on Thursday and Friday. But Ryan had a lot of good points, guys, on, we thought it was going to be Styles. That looks like that's kind of got a little cold. Downs still seems to be in play. But now there's some, with the performance in the pro day of Tyson, he's rocking up, right? Where people were worried about his health. And of course the guard from Penn State is just sitting there. And then of course it's quiet on what's his name from LSU, the corner.
Delane.
Mansour.
Yeah, Mansour, really quiet.
Mansour, okay.
Yeah, real quiet, which is sometimes also a sign.
Yeah, I think some media guy talked about him today. I don't know if it was Schrager or somebody else, but I saw his name come up. So,
and I think this might be Dr. Greg. Dr. Greg, if that's you, it's always good to have you in the house. You got a crazy user number there. You might have to tweak that a little bit and put Dr. Greg in there. And if it's not Dr. Greg, it's another Greg. What's up, Greg? All right, let's roll up here and see what kind of questions you guys have, and then I'm going to get on this schedule so I can get you guys out your time slots. What's the over under on Craig calling Odell a clown? You said it at 5 minutes. Well, I actually held out for over 20 minutes. Did not call him a clown, but threw it in there, Kevin, just so I can help you feel better. And, he is a clown, but he might be our clown by the end of the week.
Everybody needs a clown.
Everybody needs a clown. I hate clowns. I hate puppets. Let's see what we got in here.
There's only one clown that I like. Well, actually, two clowns. Joker and Pennywise.
And Harley Quinn. Okay, Pennywise. Yeah, he's a little. Yeah, I don't like that. That It movie's creepy. Let's see here. Dexter what's this one say? How about Dexter was pretending Cincinnati Stadium was Candlestick Park or something?
That was funny.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He was like,
chills.
I was a little.
Chills.
I was like, bro. That's a good one for all of us. Love or Downs. I'm kind of torn for all those great guys, K-Mac, but I'm leaning on Downs. How about you, Sean?
I mean, I think he's asking if both are possible, and I think both could be possible.
Oh, you mean like a Love at 5, a Downs at 10?
I think that's what he's asking. Yeah, I mean, is it going to happen? I don't know. Could it be possible? I think it could be. If he falls down to 5, it would not surprise me if Harbaugh takes him at 5.
Yeah, that would hurt my feelings. I would cry over that. Chris, you got a feeling on Love and Downs going 5-10?
I'm right with you guys. I think it's possible.
Yeah, it is very possible. I don't want it to happen that way, but it is very possible. Let's see. Vin, I got you right. Thank you for that. It's on its way. Let's see what else I got in here. Who is Dex? Yeah, exactly.
Nice, Mark. Nice.
Yeah, he's gone, man. Time to move on. Nobody, you don't have to
Seriously,
be happy about it, or you
he's
can love
taking
it.
he's taking the Saquon playbook. Like, it's crazy. Like, I can't stand that. I really can't.
The wah.
Yeah, seriously. Listen,
You know
Dex
what?
could
I'm
whoop
sorry.
my
Go ahead.
Dex could whoop my ass, but he's soft. Like, he's soft. He took Daniel Jones's side. Like, all these issues. Like, and listen, I know it got brought up earlier, and I wasn't going to say it around in the show, but the organization took Dex's side over Carl Banks, who is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, should be a Hall of Famer. And if Carl speaks on that, he was right. He was absolutely right with what he said. So to Dex feel like he wasn't wanted, dude, the whole organization went to bat for you over a Giants legend. So cut me the victim crap.
And I was gonna let me springboard off of that and double down. The fans loved Dexter Lawrence.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, they love Dexter Lawrence. There's a 340-pound guy running people over, getting sacks, stopping the run. He brought back like a dance that was fun, that he was known for.
It's a great giant.
Yeah, like look here. You know what killed me? So, my daughter, as you guys know, goes to Michigan State. They have like an all-world Big Ten gymnastics team, right? Yep. I mean, these girls are diesel. I mean, they are so good. And 2 of them used to live across the hall from my daughter when she was a freshman, right? So she follows them, on their career, right? And and these girls are amazing. This one specific gymnast launches herself off the beam and she lands it. Great score, helps them win, their match. And she starts doing the sexy Dexy. I was like, oh my God. I don't know if she knew she was doing it, but I was like, that girl is doing the sexy Dexy. And it reminded me of people really liked Dexter Lawrence. I thought he was a good leader. He was humble. I thought, all those things on and off the field. The organization stood up for him. And now to kind of make it like, you're going to let Joe Shane win? Bro, don't let Joe Shane win. Mm-hmm. Joe Shane may not be here in 3 weeks. And I know you're pissed because you had to wait 2 years for an adjustment you thought you earned. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
And we didn't bring up Leonard Williams. This goes back all the way to Leonard Williams, his buddy.
But them trading.
That's when it all probably started, right back then.
And as much as I don't like Shane handled that the right way. Leonard Williams talked about it. Leonard Williams talked about how good he was handled in that situation. And it got us Brian Burns.
Just went out of here.
Yeah, Dex is more concerned about players. But and here's the other thing that bothers me too, is that if you guys remember, was it last year, the year, one of the years where they gave up as many points they did in defense, and it was his birthday, and he didn't talk to the media about how many points they gave up. He chose to be like, I'm not going to talk about it. Like, he wasn't the outward leader of this team. And I had forgot about that. And when somebody brought it up on Twitter, I was like, that's an excellent point. Like, I don't know. And if you're going to let the criticism of Carl Banks get to you and feel like you're not wanted, like, dude, it's Carl Banks.
Yeah,
like, let's be real, right? Like,
and now, and now was the time where things were changing, right? With the new regime, with Harbaugh, proven head coach. Now is the time to stick around. But he was 45 or 44 games under 500 in his career, and a startling stat. And he was awesome. The Giants were never top 20 in stopping the run.
No,
with Dex. And that's not saying it's Dex. I'm just saying, we talk about, the running game's going to suffer now. Well, the Giants weren't ever top 20, even with Dex. So, there's a lot of room for improvement.
I said this to Spartan Mike yesterday. I think it was as simple as this. He was kind of pissed that, Shane wouldn't make those adjustments that he wanted to consider. And when he said, like Myles Garrett did, when he said, I want to be traded, he thought that they would just pick up the phone and go, you want the 28? We're done. You got it. Mm-hmm. And I think Shane's response was, hey, why don't you come in and talk about it? And he was like, I'm done. I don't want it to. He just wanted the money. It wasn't even not about the money. It was, we're going to give you what you are asking for. If he had said, I want to be traded, and Shane picked up the phone and said, Dex, you want the 28? We'll give you the 28. And I think he would have taken it and then moved on. But the minute that didn't come out of his mouth and it was, why don't you come in and we'll talk about it? Or let me get on the phone on your agent and talk about it. Talking that I don't respect to give you what you want, you're out. And he was out. That was
and his agent's a jerk. His agent wouldn't even allow Dex to talk to Harbaugh. So, and he has a reputation supposedly around the league as being difficult.
Absolutely.
All right,
Dex
so
wanted out. They
Vin
offered
wants
him
to
28.
Vin wants to know. He did, but I'm saying like,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
yeah, just he wanted the offer on the first phone call. You know what I mean? Like
Again.
he was like, I'm not negotiating. You just give it to me or not, or I'm leaving. And listen, I hate Shane. I've always hated Shane. Most people don't like Shane. You know, if you had to choose between Shane and Dable, I'm taking Dabes. I mean, he's in over his head most of the time.
Right.
And I watch him sit around and do nothing all day on Hard Knocks. The guy's an embarrassment. But I did want to let me hide that one for a second. But I did want to say this, Sean. Every time there's a home game and I'm driving home, right,
Yeah.
and I listen to the post game for 6 years, Dexter Lawrence is the first person they go to.
Yep.
6 years of losing. He has always been stand up. He has always addressed the media. He has always been cordial. He's never been a jerk to the media. He answers all the hard questions. So I think, definitely losing takes a toll on you. I'm not making an excuse for what he did. He could have found a different way to get it done. But I don't think I do think he was a good leader. People want to play with this guy. They come here for this guy. Denard Wilson, first thing out of his mouth was, can't wait to, build the defense.
Yeah, but not for his leadership skills, but because of what he did on the field, the size, what he did there. He was not that vocal leader we needed. He was not that guy in the locker room that was going to hold players accountable.
I'm telling you,
that's what I'm
just saying that then you need to listen to the post game, because the guy is the leader. When he's giving an interview after the game, he's the first person that everyone's around in his locker. And I think maybe you don't see it or you don't hear it because he's not
maybe, or they went to him because he was the face of the franchise, and that's who you go to. Like,
but because he's the leaders don't get the leaders. You could be a face of the franchise like OBJ. If you're going to go there and he's going to be a jerk, you're not going to talk to him. I'm just saying he was great. He was great to everyone.
I'm sure he was. I'm just saying, like, when you look at what leaders do and how they change play and players' attitudes and things like that, I just didn't see it. I love that show. You guys know this. Yeah. I said he was a face. He wasn't a leader for a long time.
They probably went to him in the locker room because the defense blew so many leads in the fourth quarter. They went right to the defense, and he was the guy. You know what I mean? Exactly. I'm just saying too. So, the Giants blew so many games on defense that they took a beeline right to the defensive.
He's gone. I want guys that want to be here, and he didn't want to be here.
Again, that's a now thing. That what what I mean.
Yeah.
It's ironic that things are about to change now, right? I mean, we're pretty confident that the whole thing's gonna be turned around. So hopefully,
let's not forget too. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he also got 1 day off a week from practice, didn't he? Didn't Dayball give him 1 day off?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because
that's a little concerning. So maybe part of that was he didn't want to be under the strict Harbaugh regime.
Guys do it all the time. I can't go there. I mean,
listen, he's 29. He'll be 34. Shane will be gone, and he'll come back and do his final tour with the Giants on a nice deal.
And he'll get the Bengals inked off his arm and the Giants underneath it again. It'll pop. This is kind of, I guess, tongue in cheek. Chris, Vin wants to know how Kadarius Toney passed an interview with Gettleman or Judge.
Well, what's funny? I heard, and I don't know if maybe Sean might know this. I heard that Gettleman didn't even talk to Toney.
I heard that.
There was no conversation. He just picked them. So how crazy is that?
I heard that.
All right. So Sean, the other Sean.
And if he would have talked to me, he would have known to make sure he brought the right size shoes for minicamp so he didn't lose them during drills.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Kadarius, what size you wear? Make sure we need a couple extras.
Or don't come out of the locker room with one on and one off.
Yeah, he left one shoe in Miami or Florida, in Gainesville, and brought one shoe up to Jersey.
What combo you want here, Sean? The other Sean is asking that he's giving you some combos here. Which combo are you taking?
Listen, I've said all along that I want Styles and Downs. That's the combo I'm going with. I want to improve this defense. That's what I want. And those two guys, in my opinion, can improve this defense.
Chris, you got a combo here you like?
Well, Ryan put a little doubt now after talking about Styles, but I'm going to still stay Styles like Sean, and I'm going to pivot to the receiver, which could be Tyson.
Yeah, we talked earlier. I'm kind of leaning off Styles now. Just he's not a thumper. He's more of a in space off ball kind of linebacker. And Edmonds is the same player. They need
why do we need a thumper? Like I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying why do we need a
all right,
thumper?
so
If two guys that
any
can he
great
make a
defense,
tackle? He makes tackles. I don't
no,
care.
actually, his tackling is something
missed
that
one
has.
He
Sorry,
missed one tackle. I don't need him to knock guys out. I need him to get to the ground. Giants they need more guys that can just bring a guy to the ground. We miss tackles.
yeah.
Like
So
we
the
miss
term thumper, Mr. Running Back, the thumper is a guy that can come
it is.
downhill between the A and the B.
Micah
and the
McFadden's a
B.
thumper type.
Yeah, sure. But what the point is that they don't have any downhill linebackers. They got off-ball space linebackers. And Edmonds, every single thing you read about him is he's willing to do anything, but his technique is terrible. I mean, I've seen it from now multi sources from Chicago saying the guy's willing. You'll love his willingness, but he misses a ton of tackles. He always under pursues, over pursues, just not. But you know how you don't like the fact they run into guys, right? And they knock themselves out of the play, right? Instead of scraping, he runs right by. So if you have a guy like Styles that is better in space and not a downhill guy at 6'5", is he going to get his pad level low enough? Is he going to be able to do? It's not his forte. So now you have two guys that look exactly the same from a style standpoint that may not fit. That's all, you know what I mean? That may not fit.
Okay.
So I don't know if
I think his football smarts, he gets around guys he knows the hole to get into. I've seen him go in the hole. I've seen him make plays. I've never seen him not. The only criticism I heard people say is he doesn't hit hard enough. Well, I don't care if he doesn't hit hard enough, but he makes the tackles. That's all I care about. Like get a guy to the ground. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have a hard hitter. I mean, hard hitter is going to wrap up. I don't need a guy like lunging around. But then again, I don't know. We'll have to see what he is at the pro level. Nobody quite knows yet.
And then that's what
Downs small, right? They say Downs is too small for you know what I mean. But then again, Brian Dawkins wasn't overly tall. You know what I mean? So
and Downs will get bigger and smart. Like it's just all talk.
Height wise.
No, I know. Oh yeah.
Because I think Brian Dawkins was only like 5'11". So, there's some smoke screens out there on these guys. I have like Ryan was saying, I've kind of cooled on Styles a little bit. The more I read, the more I hear about his style of play, because Edmonds is that style of play. So I'm kind of leaning more on that. Downs.
Yeah, I hear you. I'd like two guys the same thing because they can cover linebackers and do what you do. You don't have mismatches if they're on the field at the same time. Like I don't want one guy that's just a run stuffer and a thumper. Like to me, Styles can make tackles. He can read the play. He can get where he needs to be. He can do all the things he needs to do. Again, that's my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. And then if you want a guy, like that's what McFadden's for. You bring him in, bring him a thumper. You put him in obvious rundowns. Maybe he takes the place of Edmonds. Who knows? But our linebackers it's just got to be better. And I think and again, he's the son of a former NFL linebacker, so he understands the game. Like, so I hear you, Craig. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. It's just my opinion. Like, I got no problem with two guys of the same style on the field at the same time, especially in today's NFL.
And the other part that bothers me about it, again, is I think you could probably get away with it if you have a healthy Dex in front of you. You're going to have a little bit of a gap to fill in front of those guys. So again, you hope that those guys can, like, for instance, you're 6'5", you need to get your pad level low. You need to be able to get in there and mix it up. You be able to, shut things down at the line of scrimmage, not give up those yardage. I don't know. No one's going to really know until it happens.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? But if I had to gamble, I would say Downs is a more sure thing than Styles. I have no idea who's going to be better, Tyson or Tate. They're totally different wide receivers. So that's a little, because I didn't think that he was going to say that, by the way, that Tyson at 10, I didn't see that coming. I was for sure he was going to say Mansour. So
I mean, there's Schrager came out today and said Tate at 5.
Wow.
Tate at 5.
Or McShay, I think, or it was either Schrager or McShay or both. They talked about, but that's the thing. They're saying so many different options.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't know. Nobody has any idea, and I'm all for that.
That's why
Mark,
in 2 more days it's over. 3 more days it's
I know.
over.
Right.
Mark,
Get it over
I'm
with.
not-
Let's go.
I don't know what I don't know what part this was at 8:25. So I don't know what part of the show was this for a likely trade partner. I do know that I sent Sean a clip of it earlier today, or maybe yesterday, that Atlanta would be a really good spot for Tibbs. So I don't know if you're referring to a Tibbs trade partner or if you're referring to just a trade partner in general. Look, so I mean, look, I guess there's only really one. Steelers need a quarterback, but there's
They're
not
gonna
a
need a
whole,
tackle.
and a tackle. So Steelers could come up, but again, quarterbacks are not something that is pressing. I mean, yeah, I think all three of those teams would possibly be interested. I think Arizona could double down, because they need some star players there. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, it's always interesting. This is the kind of year where all sorts of things are going to happen. Let me see. Let me see what else I got in here. Let's see what this. If they trade out from 5, how far down should they go? I mean,
Can't go past 12 or 13.
9. Can't go past 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's thin.
Can't go past 9.
Yeah, and that was Ryan's opinion too. Like what he's hearing is like, you got to settle in right for 9 and 10.
Yeah.
You don't want to go past that.
I think
13.
you go 8. If you go in that 8-9 range is good. And again, I don't think they should trade. I think they should trade in the second round to get more.
Trade
I think
out
with
of
5 and 10, you get the 2 best picks you need. It's all over Twitter. Like, we need more picks. No, we really don't.
Just get the
need more
playmakers at
picks.
those spots.
Right. Get the guys you got. You can make it work. If you want to trade out of the second round to get an extra pick there, or the third round, like whatever you need to do, I think that's the place to do it. I think at 5 and 10, unless again somebody offers you a haul, that's a different story. But just to trade down to get an extra pick, get the difference makers because it drops off the farther down you go.
Right. That's kind of been the thinking is that after 15, it maybe 15, right? Blue chippers, and after 15, it all kind of comes together. It really comes like a.
I think
really
after
becomes
the top 10, it drops.
Everything
off.
gets tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And would they trade out of the first round? I mean, like that would mean trading out 5 and 10, right? To pick up, I mean, would you'd have to, it would be, listen, I have seen New England and I have seen Kansas City do crazy stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think John in his first year is going to give away, especially since he just got rid of Dexter. No. I don't think that they would even remotely want to give away 5 and 10 because you're getting first day starters.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting a starting safety, a starting guard, a starting wide receiver, a starting linebacker day one.
Yeah, right. And we went into this draft not having a 3rd round pick, but now we have 2 first rounders. I will take that over still not having a 3rd rounder. Like, let's be realistic. Like, what are we doing? Like, 2
and that's what's interesting about that 10. Guard spot at 10 now we're hearing about, right? Now that 10 spot's opened up, we do hear a little bit about the guard.
I wouldn't be surprised if they took a guard at 37. I really
That's
wouldn't,
where I
depending
think
on what they do at 5 and 10.
What
and you can get a guard in the 4th round and he could be a starter. Like, you don't need a 1st round or 2nd round guard to make an impact in this league. So it's all about scouting, and that's what Chris Snee's here for.
And Sean, which is kind of what we're talking about now. Like the duo could be anywhere from the 2 Ohio State guys to and the wild card is that who the top players are. It's the guard from Penn State. It's the wide receiver from Arizona State, Tyson. It's Tate. It's Love. Right now, it's Mansour. Like you could throw all those guys in there. There's a combination on them who, because it's not like where there's. I think this draft is unique because there's no quarterbacks. Right? People want to move up for quarterbacks. Like there's really nobody banging down the door for quarterbacks. So the players are all what we talked about. It's Love, Downs, Styles, Mansour. What's it? Vega? Is that that's the guard from?
That's the guard from Penn State.
From Penn State. Like those guys are all in play. Any combination of any of them are going to make the Giants better.
Absolutely. Like, and I would not. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, even if you walked away with Love in Vega, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if you walked away with Downs and Tyson. I wouldn't be mad. Like any of those combinations of those guys are all first day starters.
Right.
I don't think you could go wrong. I know getting Vega's not sexy. And I know, getting Downs may not be sexy.
Hey, neither was Quentin Wilson, right? Where the folks took him.
Oh,
But I don't
Quentin
want to
Nelson.
draft for need.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're getting the best players that are available. I don't care what position they are. Give me the whoever is the 5th best and 10th best athletic person at that time. Give me them. I want football players. I want athletic people. I want that. I don't care what we need. Give me the best players and you figure the rest out.
You said it,
I'm
Sean.
not-
Go off of the board and give me the best guys. Give me the
Exactly.
best graded at those 2 spots if you keep them.
And again, I've said it, and it's also subjective. One guy may think the best guy at that
Right.
position is Tate. One guy may think it's Love, right? Let's see. I'm not buying the Jordan Tyson hype. Is he suddenly going to be durable in the NFL? Harbaugh taking an injury-prone wide receiver. I don't see it. Look, listen. Just keep in mind that John Harbaugh and Ozzie and what's his name?
DaCosta.
DaCosta. I think it's DaCosta.
Mark DaCosta.
Yeah, they have drafted 4 number 1 wide receivers in the first round with their pick. 4 wide receivers, and they turned out to. I mean, Flowers turned out.
It's probably the
Zay
best.
Flowers
Maybe
turned
Flowers
out
is
to
the
be
best.
their.
Yeah, he's the best of them.
Yeah,
He's
the
not
best
even.
one.
Yeah.
But don't be shocked if they draft Jordan Tyson, because it's not like this is foreign for him to do.
But why would you take a receiver at 5 when you got Malik Neighbors on the roster?
I
You're
don't-
not going to draft a receiver at
I don't
5
think
if
he's
Neighbors
saying
is going to miss
5.
a couple games. No, I get that.
I agree. Yeah, Sean, you're right.
Like even a receiver at 10 doesn't make sense to me. You're going to draft a receiver at 10 because Malik Neighbors might miss 1 or 2 games that we don't even know if he's going to miss. Like you can get Jacoby Lane from USC in the 4th round. He can come in and do what he needs to do as that receiver there. Like I'm just not buying it. Again, am I going to be upset if they draft a receiver at 5 or 10? No. Right. But we're going to be a run heavy team. I just, to me, because then you're going to have 2 guys you're going to have to pay down the road and you're going to lose one of them. If you have Tyson and Neighbors on the roster, you're losing one of them down the road. You're not paying both those guys.
You want to win games, though. You can't have to worry about what you're going to have to pay these guys in 4 years. If he's
you'd
the
get him
best
for
guy on the
5.
board.
You'd have him for 5.
Yeah, I
That would be
can't
the
worry
only
about
thing.
paying him. I know
we don't need 2 number 1 wide receivers on this roster. We just don't need it.
Yeah.
But Tyson's not.
Tyson's a number 1 receiver. He is a number 1 receiver. He absolutely is. His problem is injuries.
He's not Neighbors. And Neighbors would still be the.
He's
one
actually he's damn close. That's how good Tyson is. He's just injured. To me, even if he's a little bit below, that's not the guy you need. Like that's why to me Tate makes more sense because he is a number 2. He would be that. I don't need 2 number 1 wide receivers on this roster.
So you just talked about best player available. If he's the best player available,
if he is, fine. Like I said, that's why I'm not going to be mad if he is. But I think if you have a Styles there, a Downs there, like I would take Downs at 5 and would not lose any sleep over taking Caleb Downs at 5.
I think
he's the best player there when you put everything together. His football acumen, everything that comes, his leadership, all that stuff. That's why I'm putting in there, which is why I also would take David Bailey if David Bailey drops to 5. Absolute in a heartbeat. I would have 0 hesitation taking David Bailey.
Mark, no, this is what I was reading when they signed him. I was reading all the reports that came out of Chicago for him saying, and if I find the link, I'll resend it to you. I got no problem with that on Twitter about him being and don't get me wrong, Spartan Mike's also from Chicago, right? So we get a little inside scoop there that he's a willing linebacker, but from a technique standpoint, that he's not a technical linebacker. He's not in the right place where he should be. He's good in space, but he's not a downhill guy. He's not going to, and especially again, he's not the same player that he was in Buffalo, right? He's years removed from that now. So still athletic, but just might not be what we need when Dex isn't there. You may need someone very aggressive to be downhill and clog up those holes. And he's not that guy. Like he's not going to come on there and be a technical, linebacker. Maybe you don't need it. Who knows? Maybe Reader becomes the guy. What's his name? Reader becomes the guy.
They're going to scheme. Yeah. Reader could take on, Reader gets double teamed a lot. So there's a guy that's going to take on the blocks, free up the linebackers. Shelby Harris could be that guy too. Again, we don't need that. Like, I think Wilson is going to scheme around his linebackers and his safeties to be the tacklers, and the other guys just taking up space. Like, so I that's my feeling. And again, I would not be surprised if Wilson changes his idea of what he's going to do and maybe not go with a true nose tackle as often. He may go 4 down lineman.
I do like Downs at 5. I do. I like I said, I keep flip flopping between the two styles and Downs, but I do lean a little bit towards Downs. What is this one? Daniel says Styles is his 3rd overall player in the draft. Dropped his update 150 today.
So yeah, number 3 player. Yeah,
yeah. I don't think I have any. Let me see any other ones in here. Oh, Mark says, I was asking whether you prefer to trade the 5 or the 10. Oh, yeah.
Well, probably if it would be the 5, because you don't want to get out of 10, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's a tough call. I'm not really sure.
Neither.
Yeah,
neither,
really.
Exactly. Neither. Keep him.
Keep them.
I'm not worried about a 3rd round pick, not having a 3rd round pick. I'm just not.
Get the playmakers.
Yeah, I don't want to do all this wheeling and dealing and everything else. You got 5 and 10, make it work. We're not. We need to add players to what we have. Like, we're not in a rebuild mode in the sense of we got no talent. We're going to be awful next year. Get as many players on the roster as you need. That's not the mindset. We need good players on the roster.
I also think this is the first year you're not going to not like. There's guys that you don't like, right? You're like, oh, we got too many of this guys, or we got too many of that guy. I think all these guys fit. You know what I mean? Like I think they all fit on a team that's got holes, right? I mean, I'm going to pound the table for Mansour like I did with Banks, and I was wrong, right? I mean, I was wrong on Banks. I don't want to be wrong on Mansour either, but I think they need a corner. I think not having a early round corner is a mistake. I just think it's a mistake to go into the season with what we have or to draft a corner in the 4th round. I just think it's a mistake. However, whoever they draft, there's enough good football players there to get at 5 and 10.
I mean, you get a corner in the 2nd round. What's his name? McCoy. I just saw today McCoy's probably going to from Tennessee because of his injury history. He could drop down the 2nd round, so you could get that guy in the 2nd round. There's another corner I saw that could drop down later too. That's pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be mad if they take Mansour. I have some concerns because he only had really 1 year of production. But listen, it would not surprise me if they go defense with the first 3 picks. Would not surprise me at all.
All right. Well, listen, last time, if you want to join us on Thursday, 6 to 10 or Friday, 6 to 10, send me a DM. Tell me you want in. Tell your friends. Let's load them up. Let's get your opinion. You get to be on screen and hang out with us and tell some stories. And we're pretty much done. We're out of here, and we're going to see you guys in 2 days.